Good morning, good evening, and welcome to this week's live stream where we're going to talk about third-party encoders and do we actually need them? Funnily enough, John Lacey has jumped in the chat quite early with a very valid point, and we will dig into that as well. A couple of housekeeping things. Firstly, my camera is playing up a little bit. It's had some ants running around inside of it, and so it's being a little bit glitchy. I do have my backup camera all ready to rock and roll if I do decide that I need to jump in and change it. So let me know if it gets too weird for you, and we will have a look at what we can do. Excuse me. So you may or may not have noticed there's a time zone shift for some of you. The USA dropped out its, did they drop their daylight savings or add their daylight savings? I can never keep up. Anyway, something or other with the daylight savings, it'll be an hour later for you if you're in the US. So I'm sorry if you've missed it because you thought it was going to be a bit earlier. So I always stream at 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, which is my local time zone. I know a lot of streamers adjust for the US. I don't. I don't want to stream earlier to make it the same time for you, like down the track, or stream later. This is the perfect time for me. Sometimes we have to make the decisions on our streaming times based on what works for us as the individual streamer, as well as what works for the audience as best as possible. But you don't want to see me before I've had a coffee in the morning. Let me tell you, it is not safe. It's not safe. Even my husband, first thing, oh, good morning, coffee. He's used to it. So, yeah. So let's have a jump in the chat here. Funnily enough, I do want to say, I do want to say that while this particular live stream is talking about how third-party encoders aren't needed, I'm definitely using one. I'm using Ecamm today with some extra add-ons so that I can have some fun with you guys as well. So Doug Hewson had to do it. Good morning or good evening, Captain Crush. Great to see you. Anfield Road Layout is in the house. My dog's asleep and yipping in his sleep. That's so cute. Sometimes the call of the pillow is just too strong. Absolutely. And Captain Crush says you're streaming at 7 for me. That is awesome. And that's what we started at. It was 7 o'clock Eastern, and then the time zone shifted, and I had to sort of decide, do I want to stream later? What do I want to do? But because this actually works so well for me, this time slot, I really didn't want to push it back. So I felt awful, but that was a decision I made. So let's have a talk about third-party encoders. So what do I mean by a third-party encoder? It is an additional piece of software that you use, StreamYard, Ecamm, OBS, all of those sorts of guys, that you use to send a signal to the platform that you want to stream to. So right now, the third-party encoder that I'm using is Ecamm, and it is sending currently the signal to both YouTube and to LinkedIn. Now, as John did say right at the start, some platforms require that you use the third-party encoder. YouTube is not one of those platforms. YouTube actually make it so you can stream directly through their software. So if you've got a pretty easy stream, like sort of like what I'm doing right now, let's just take out the BMAC for a second. No, not that one. That's not it. This one here. If you've got a shot just like this, where it's a talking head, there's not a lot going on in the screen. Like, you're not bringing comments onto the screen. You've got some information to impart or something to share. Like, you could be out and about somewhere live on your phone. The YouTube software is perfectly fine. There is nothing wrong with using YouTube directly. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there who are like, yeah, but no. I need you to understand that you have to decide what software you're using based on the content that you're putting out there. Now, if you need multi-screen, like if you need to be screen sharing and having multiple camera angles and you want to bring comments on screen, whatever it is, you can absolutely use your third-party encoder for that. But if what you're doing is this sort of thing, just a talking head, the YouTube software is perfectly fine. Now, I would love for YouTube to do some upgrades to their software. Let's be honest. There's a couple of things I would love. I would love to be able to bring the comments on screen. I think that would be an amazing addition if you could bring the comments into the stream. So I personally am not a fan of the rolling all the comments thing in, sort of in your feed. I'm not a fan of that. I know some people love it. Not a fan of it, because if someone has said something in the comments area that is not sort of something you agree with, or language that you would not normally use or approve of, and mods haven't gotten to it yet, and it appears on your stream, you've streamed that out for your entire audience to see. And while some people are like, oh, well, it was someone else's comment, you've still shared it on your screen. And I've seen, like, we all know what happened to StreamYard a few years back, as they shared a comment on screen, and it had, the comment itself was perfectly fine. The username and the imagery was not. And they actually lost their channel temporarily because of a comment that somebody else made. Now, I haven't seen it happen so much where it's just a block of text, but it could still happen, and I'm not willing to take that risk. I want to curate every comment that I personally show on my screen, and that is up to the individual. That is up to the individual streamer. Like John just says here, someone says something awful and it is burnt into the video forever. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we can't control 100% what other people say and do in our streams. Now, we can add in our block words, and we can have fantastic moderators, but the people are working out how to get past this stuff, you know. So I'm just going to scroll back here. John says his brain works better in the morning, but sometimes his voice is a bit croaky. Yeah. John also uses OBS and then restream to go to multiple destinations. I've only done live direct to YouTube once, but I kind of want to visit it for vertical version of a stream. Now, I used to use the live to YouTube a lot, especially on if I was going to be going just like today. I've got a book I want to show you, and it was actually quite funny, because a story that I have is quite a few years ago. It was when I had the premises for the Fiberific business, and I was setting up a live stream, and I was going to be talking about a crochet book, and I had the name of the book in the title, like, you know, we're going to be having, and I got a copyright claim. Oh no, it was some sort of strike. It wasn't a copyright claim. It was some sort of community guideline strike. Now, this was the name of a crochet book. I was like checking it. It wasn't like a dodgy name, because there are some dodgy-ish names out there. Like there's a designer who's got a user handle that's I can't remember exactly what it was, but anyway, I just remember it being a bit like, oh, not my favorite. But I was just sharing about a book, a crochet design book, and I got a copyright claim, a strike. It was a strike. Was it? No, it was a community guideline strike, which meant I couldn't stream, and I had to fight it for weeks because I hadn't even gone live yet. I just scheduled it, and it got a takedown. And because I had the bad thing, can't stream for 30 days. At that time, it was my first warning. So, it was annoying. But if you've just got, like, you just want to show a book, you just want something, one single camera frame, no bells and whistles, you just want to talk about something, you can absolutely stream directly to YouTube using YouTube software. You don't need to have one of these third-party encoders. Now, I do want to, there's caveats, okay? If you want to multi-stream, you need an encoder. If you want to bring comments onto screen, you need an encoder. There are so many, well, actually, yes, you do. You do. I was about to say, yes, you do. You do need an encoder. There are many reasons why you do need encoders, but there is absolutely space for people out there, depending on the kind of content that you're putting out there, to just go live with YouTube. No bells and whistles. And it gets your message out there. It's easier and faster to set up. And boom, you're done. You know, and there's less moving parts. So it can absolutely happen. Now, I do want to have a quick chat about this. I got this week. I haven't had a chance to read it all. I've started reading it. One of the things I want to say is I love how they've laid out the pages. I know this seems like an odd thing to be obsessing over, but I quite often have a bit, like, as you guys know, a bit of a squirrel brain. And sometimes those sort of squirrel brain things need a bit more white space. So you can pause at the white line, because my brain will just keep reading. If there's more words, I'll just keep reading it and reading. And then I'll find reading such a draining thing, right? Whereas, because I love reading, like, don't get me wrong, I am obsessed with it. But I love how it's laid out. I love the paper. And what I've read so far, I really like the writing style, okay? So if you don't know what I'm talking about here, this is Justin Moore's sponsor magnet. So Justin Moore is the guy to go to, or to go and watch. His YouTube channel is called Creator Wizard. Go and check it out. I do have a link. Hang on, where did I put that? I have a link. I made a link and everything. So if you want to get your hands on the book yourself, here we go. This is an affiliate link. I will add it into the description as well. I grabbed it later. So this is the thing. So this is what you've got. Now, Doug's bringing in some excellent, sponsor magnet. Go and check it out for yourself. How to attract, price, and execute your dream brand partnerships. And it's not just about how you push yourself out towards the brands. It also talks about what the brand's actual expectations are and what they're thinking. So I like that it's from both perspectives. Anyway, so I don't need a big long, I don't need like full bells and whistles to talk about a book. Now, if I didn't have the book and I wanted to bring an image up, I'd need an encoder for that. But I have the book in my hand. Now, there are restrictions to using YouTube's third-party encoder, and Doug and John are dropping those in the chat. But if you already have 50 subscribers, you can use the app, but you need to have 50 subscribers if you want to go live using the YouTube app. Now, I've always thought it was a little bit weird that just using an encoder gets you around that limitation, but it does for whatever reason. But so if you have more than 50 subscribers, you can absolutely use the YouTube app to go live directly. And this is both horizontally and vertically live. The limitations are all the same. So if you want to go live vertically, you still need 50 subs, things like that. So Doug says you need to have an encoder to have a BRB screen. That's right. So if you want to have multiple scenes and switch scenes, you need to have an encoder. Like, you need to have an encoder for that, for sure. But Doug, my question for you is, oh no, you're right. Even that new feature that you talked about in your live stream this week, that new taking a break feature, you need to have a third-party encoder to make that work as well, don't you? So if you don't know what I'm talking about, this week, Doug, in his live stream, shared about this new tool that YouTube are rolling out. There's no documentation anywhere. Doug found it and was looking at it. Hear me out. You could, look, absolutely, we could just do this, BRB, and just rest it somewhere, right? Like, there we go. Oh, what have I done there? Oh, that's all right. It was just focusing on the wrong thing. You could totally just stick that up there. Absolutely. That could totally work. That could totally work. Oh dear. Lo-fi the BRB. Absolutely. If you need to do that, you could do that. For sure. I like this. I momentarily went to Instagram on my phone and had a bit of paper at the bottom of the camera that said, "Watch this properly on YouTube." Oh, that's cool as well. I like that. Well, and that's the other thing. Like with Instagram, you can go live from your phone, but is it like, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you want to go live from Instagram on a desktop, you do need a third-party encoder. So this is the thing. You don't need a third-party encoder had caveats. It depends on where you're streaming and the kind of streams that you want. It absolutely depends, right? What have I got here? Something fell down. Where did that come from? I don't even know what it is. Oh, it's my script from a previous stream. It fell out of my notepad. It'd probably be better to write the BRB on that and just put that on there like that. We just need to allow a little bit of light in. But yeah, it's always going to depend on what kind of stream you want, what kind of like not so much outcomes, but what do you want to put out there? Do you want multi-cameras? Do you want to have the ability to add in scenes, to throw in a be right back screen, to have some screen shares? Do you want all of that ability? And I know that there's some jiggery pokery ways around some of this stuff sometimes. Sometimes I just think it's easier to get the encoder rather than doing all of that stuff. So let me know in the chat, do you think that you need a third-party encoder for the kind of streams that you're doing? And if you do, tell me what kind of stream you're doing. Let me know in the chat. I'm going to drink some coffee. And I do not know what's happened to my camera settings. I'm going to have to dig through the back and pull the camera out again and have another look. This morning when I was doing the test, I had an ant run across inside the lens again, but just one. So those of you that don't know, we had a cyclone here, and the weather, we were very lucky, like we were exceptionally lucky. I know that over in the US right now, there's some serious storms going on as well. I'm like, what is that noise? But it's the rubbish being taken. And we were very lucky. But one thing that has happened is there's a lot of ants in our house right now. They've come to the dry ground, and they've come into the house, and over the last couple of days they have decided my camera is the place they want to be. And so I've spent like the last couple of days bringing the camera forward, taking it out of the back of the teleprompter, opening it up, getting some of my compressed air and very gently trying to get them out without squashing them in there. And then yesterday I got really annoyed, and so I pulled the camera out and pulled a lot of the electricals forward and then just sprayed everything with like bug killer, so if they walked on stuff they'd die. But what I'm going to guess is one ant was still in the camera and now it's afraid to come out. It's like, no, it's a death sentence if I go out. So yeah. Amazing yacht destinations. It's great to see you. You're back in Thailand. That's awesome. Glad to see that you're back in Thailand. I'm just going to drop that back up there now that I've finished. I'm going to go see you. I'm going to go and see you on the next one. I'll watch it on the replay. It's been a long night. Awesome. You go get some rest. I know what that's like. Definitely. So yeah, it's one of these things. Do you need the third-party encoder? You need to think about what is the production that you are trying to put out there. Do you have all of the extra bells and whistles? Like, do you want them? Do you need them? For me, I probably don't need them as much as I want them. And this kind of stream, I could absolutely do directly to YouTube without the bells and whistles. I totally could. But I kind of want Doug to be able to remind me to have some coffee. You know, and I kind of want to be able to have my QR code. Where is it? It's over there. It's there somewhere. I want that there. And I want to be able to change screens and have my be right back screen. So for me, I need the third-party encoder. And so having the thought, sitting down and writing out what it is that you want to put into your live stream, and then deciding what you need after that. I agree, John. John says it's annoying that you can't wrangle the comments via YouTube directly. 100%. And I didn't realize how much I loved having that ability until many, many years ago when I first started using StreamYard. And when I was able to bring the comments on screen. And that has just made the connection between myself and my audience just so much more important. It has made the connection so much better. People actually feel like you're talking directly to them. You've made that effort to go and dig their comment out, put it on the screen. And that, I think, is an amazing tool. And I would love to see YouTube bring that into their own encoder. I think there'd be a lot more people who would actually use their encoder directly rather than needing a third party to ingest in. I think that would make a huge, huge difference. And having that ability that's one of my, I don't want to miss out on. Now, if I couldn't have it, would I still stream? Yes. Yes, I would. But it is something that I absolutely love being able to do. Let me know in the chat if you actually love being able to bring your comments onto screen. Now, one thing I do want to do, one of the things that I love to be able to do that I can't do if I have a third-party encoder is things like this. Look, my watch time goal. I couldn't change the scene and add in, this is a screen share technically with some, overlay stuff on it. I couldn't have this if I was over directly to YouTube. Is this something I absolutely have to have? No, it's not. It's not necessary, but it's a nice to have, right? So, and look at that. We are creeping ever closer, ever closer. And it's something nice to have. So when you're making your list of things that you want to have in your live stream, have the deal breakers, the things that you absolutely have to have. So if you're a gamer, you absolutely have to be able to screen share, like show your gameplay. And then a nice to have is also your face. I personally prefer to see the gamer that I'm watching. So having this ability to be able to do this, making this list of the must-haves, the nice-haves, and the deal break. So you must-haves are your deal breakers. If you can't do this, you don't want to stream, right? So you've got to think about that. And then say you can't have a third-party encoder. Say you're out and about on your phone and you don't have something like, is it Prism Live? Prism Live works on mobile. You don't have something like that you know how to use. You're out and about and you just really want to quickly show something and you go live directly from your phone while you're out and about. I've done it at yarn crafting events. I've just decided, you know what, this is awesome. I'm just going to go live without all my bells and whistles. Sometimes that's amazing too for your audience. They get to actually be involved in something you're doing right now. Right that second. You saw it. It wasn't scheduled. It was just something that was happening. So being able to have that spontaneity to be able to stream as well is also super important. Being aware that you're allowed to stream wherever it is that you're streaming. So not being able to have comments is kind of a deal breaker for John. When you say kind of a deal breaker, is it definitely a deal breaker? So if say all the third-party encoders went down or the ability to be able to bring something on screen, would you stop using them? That's a really great question. Doug is currently binge watching the interview series. Oh, is that why the watcher? Thank you, Doug. I appreciate you binge watching my interview series. Back in the day when we first started this channel, I would interview people every week and it was so much fun. It really was. I had such a good time with that. And I really need to do something like it again. I love interviewing. I love chatting with creators. So I should really do that again. Or so, maybe not exactly the same, but something similar. Have guests on again for sure. But yeah, just knowing what it is that you really want to stream. And sometimes we don't know. Sometimes we're like, oh, I definitely want to live stream, but what do I want to show? what do I want to talk about? What do I want to make my stream series to be? You know, like when you're planning a new series, when you're planning out the next phase, or you know, you've already got one live stream a week, but you want to bring in a second one. Does it need to look the same? No, it doesn't. Can it be different so it looks like a different series? Absolutely, it can. Can you use different software for it? Of course you can. So if in one series you don't have guests, you don't need to have software that can have guests. But if you want to have guests, you need to have software and have the ability to be able to bring those guests on. Now, while technically I could probably fit someone else in the shot and have them sit right here and we could have a conversation, I don't like people in my house. So I like to bring them on digitally. So it is definitely one of those things where you have to decide what are your deal breakers. And while there's a few people I would have here, there's a few people, like I would let Doug in the house. Over my yarn crafting channel, I had some special guests. Sorry, I realized like I couldn't move all the way over because there was stuff on the floor here. There's definitely some people that I am comfortable to have in my home. This is not a studio. This is a bedroom in a house that is just this corner of it, or this edge of it just looks like this. The rest of the room doesn't look like this. So yeah, Let's Cut the Scrap is here. It's great to see you. Great to see you. Thanks for jumping in. And thank you for your messages while I was unwell and then had a cyclone. I appreciate that. So let me know in the chat, like what is your deal breaker? Like one deal breaker for your live stream. Is it multicam? Is it bringing on a guest? Is it bringing on the comments? Like, let me know in the chat, what is a deal breaker for the software that you're looking at using? So it just has to be one thing. You don't have to put in a whole list. You can put the whole list in if you like. I'm not saying no. But I would love to know what's one thing that's a deal breaker for you for your live streaming. And I'm going to drink some more coffee and get hit by they're gone now. So yeah, it's been it was over the weekend. I was really tossing up whether to stream today or not, and what it was is I'd gotten out of the groove because I had a couple of weeks off, unplanned. It's different if I plan them off, but I was sick, and then we had a cyclone, and just like, and while I could have streamed on Monday last week, I could have, but my brain was not in the right place for it. I was still stressing out. We had floodwaters coming, and I was still stressed out about it. But it was just, I just wasn't there. Do you know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? So I just thought it's better not to. It's better not to. Oh yeah, Doug's yelling at us in the stream. I'm certainly willing to stream on the fly in real life if it warrants it. Yeah, like if it's interesting, if it'll be interesting to your audience. You totally meant to yell because you had you at some stage touched a caps lock. or tapped the button. We tapped the button if you're on your phone, because I'm not sure if you're on your phone, Doug. Let's Cut the Crap says, it makes total sense. We missed you though. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm sorry I put you in the position to miss me because I got out of the groove and found it very hard today to start the stream, especially with like the issue with the ants in my camera. It was so close to being a reason to not stream. And then I had to really think about it. And I was just like, you know what? Yeah, you know, I know the camera's not perfect. I know it's artifacting and doing some weird stuff. And I get that. But am I going to not live stream just because of it? No, my message isn't going to be diluted by the fact that there's some little glitches that are bugging me that you may not even be noticing, right? So it's you know, we just have to think these things through. Does the thing that's bugging you and makes you want to stop streaming, is it enough to actually not stream? Like, would your audience notice it? So just like some of the bells and whistles that we're doing, that we're using with these third-party encoders, is it something that only you care about? Because like this is a big thing, and this is a huge thing across all of YouTube content. When we're creating content, are we doing it because it's what we want to do, or is it something that the audience actually wants? Like I'm sort of like was sitting here when I was writing out the plan for today's stream, and I'm like, is this something I want to do? Or is this something that the audience actually wants? So I did just a little bit of research, and it was something that people who are live streaming are asking the question of. And it was just like, do I have to have a third-party encoder? Like, do I need extra software? And that's when I realized, okay, people are asking the question. And so I was like, okay, this is not 100% a selfish stream. Usually my streams are pretty selfish streams because I love chatting with you. I love the interaction that I get to have with you in the chat, which is why I'm constantly asking you questions, because I want to see that you're in there and that you're actually, benefiting. Like I'm not just talking your ear off, because let's be honest, that is a fault of mine. I do understand that I do talk people's ears off. And I try not to. I try to consciously not do it, but when I get excited about something, I can't help it. So, and my husband and daughter have learnt how to just stop me in my tracks. Sometimes it's a little harsh, but it's what is needed, because they'll be like, I don't care. And you'll be like, what? Like, that thing? Like, glad you loving it? I don't actually care. I don't need all the details. And it's just like, okay. Excuse me, Louie. That horn that beeped was very clearly at least halfway down the street. Thank you for sharing all of this, because it happens to all of it. It does. Don't change. I'm not going to change. Don't worry. I'm setting my ways. I mean, I do learn and I do, change some things, but that's probably not one that'll change anytime soon. Louis really losing it out there. I'm just going to go and just calm him down. So I'm going to show you my Be Right Back screen. If it works, come on. I clicked you. Absolutely no one there. Absolutely barking at air. Good job, Louis. Well done, you. Amazing Your Destination says, I think people will notice if you're out and about. IRL people will forgive no extras, but it is ultimately the streamer's choice. It is. This is the thing. It's your stream. You get to decide. Now, do you have computer limitations or device limitations or internet limitations? You need to work around all of that. You need to take all that on and work out what you can do within those limitations. But you get to decide, because it's your stream, right? This is your interaction with your audience. You get to decide. Frankie over 50 says, love a little 80s interlude. I know, it was a little taste of the 80s and I kind of love it a lot. It is one of my favorite. It's one of my absolute favorite albums out of Creator Mix. What's it called? Ocean Road. Is it Ocean Road? Ocean Drive? Might be Ocean Drive. It's all 80s feel kind of music, and I use it like so often. It's not funny. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's over on Creator Mix. Go and check out their YouTube channel, or creatormix.com. There is a link in the description. You can go and check it out. All of their music is made by YouTubers for YouTubers to use within their live streams and videos, all copyright free to use. There is a license there. You can download that. So if you do happen to get a copyright claim, it is. I've had 2 copyright claims in the couple of years I've been using this stuff. Both of them were fake claims, and both of them I ended up, after their 28 days, whatever it was, I ended up, fine with them. But it's free to use, and there's no real issues with it, and I love it. I just love using it. Frankie says, I use that album a lot. I know, me too. Me too. I'm like, Dee keeps talking that there's more music coming, and I'm like, I wonder if it's a little bit more of this sort of stuff, because I'd love a second album like this, because we've got lots of the lo-fi kind of, like chill stuff. I've made a whole playlist of the chill stuff. I use it over on the Fiberific channel for the productivity streams. But I'd love a bit more of that. Let's Cut the Scrap says, I love the 80s. Me too. Doug says, I was actually going through that album last night for tracks for my video. It's such, there's so much energy in it without being like over the top, like trap or anything like that. I love it. It's definitely in my taste wheelhouse. But yeah, it's like, live streaming is just like creating a video, right? There are so many similarities. It is just like creating a video. You have to be talking about something your audience care about, or they're not going to watch. You have to think about, your hook and your intro and all that sort of stuff as well, the same as if you're creating a video, because you want people to click in and stay. And then, just like a normal video, are you making content that is interesting to the viewer for them to hang out with you for however amount of time? Now, I used to be really upset about how long people would hang out in my Fiberific live streams for. These are 2-hour live streams that I do every single week. And I thought I was failing the live stream game, because my average view duration was only, I think at the time it was only 35 minutes out of 2 hours. So I was just like, they're only hanging out for a quarter. And then I found out that for a 2-hour live stream with the average view duration being 35 minutes was actually really quite good. And until you understand what it is your audience want and what your audience can bear, and would I then go and just make my live streams 35 minutes? No, because I did notice that people were coming in the middle and staying until the end, or things like that. So I kept them how they were. Understanding what your audience wants and giving them what they want within the realms of what you're comfortable to deliver is the game. It's the whole game. Frankie says, we made an amazing 80s intro for our mullet reviews. Really got people in the mood. I don't know if I want to know. I hate mullets so bad. And I especially hate that, like, my daughter's friends are sporting mullets. They're back again. And I'm thinking, what else from the 80s is coming back? There was so much hideous stuff in the 80s that I couldn't bear to have back. The music I could bear with. Most of the music I'm all right with. But the fashion was dreadful. But yeah, and the haircuts. Oh, I tried to be the big hair girl. Like, my hair will do it. It'll do it. I couldn't cope with it. I'm like a slick back kind of, even when my curls are like around, I still find that distracting and annoying. I definitely like to be able to just pull it back. I have a conversation with my hairdresser, which is like, if I can get it into a ponytail, it's going in. So if you want me to wear it out, you've got to keep it short. But yeah. So, like, and let me know in the chat, like, if you are making regular content for live streaming, are you making be right back screens? Are you making starting soon screens? None of these things are necessary. I'm just curious. Like I've always been torn about a starting soon screen in particular, and because I personally hate them. I really do. I hate them. I think they're annoying, and I especially hate the 10-minute ones. I don't understand why you have a 10-minute starting soon screen. I really don't. And I know some people, it's like this big hype time. I don't get it. So if you are a 10-minute starting soon screen person, please explain it to me, because I don't get it. And I can honestly tell you, if I go to a stream and there is more than a minute or two left on that countdown clock, I'm going away and going and doing something and then hopefully coming back. But my brain doesn't quite work like that, because I'll go away and do something and forget that I wanted to come back and watch a live stream, and I'll totally miss it because I wasn't going to stick around for more than a couple of minutes on a Be Right Back screen. Now, and the reason why I don't just jump in and start the stream straight away, which is quite often actually recommended by a lot of people, is because I got into the habit of it because my Fiberific crew preferred a minute. They just wanted time to be able to get into the chat first. So that's where it sort of started from. And I could deal with a minute. But that is all. That is all. Let's Cut the Scrap says, I agree, unless there is something entertaining to watch. Amazing Yacht Destination says, yes, I make them, but as starting with a 10-minute intro is crazy for me. I agree. I absolutely agree. John says, I used to agonize over choosing between 50 and 30 seconds of music to start the stream, and then I saw somebody play a solid 10 minutes before they started. Yeah. And that's the thing, isn't it? Like we're sitting here going, oh my God, I can't, a minute or you with 15 to 30 seconds. And then there's people out there who can get their audience to jump in for a 10-minute dance party before the stream starts. It's just one of these things. Let's Cut the Crap says, if it's good music, I'm in. And that's the thing. Sometimes it is good music, depending on where they're sourcing their music from and what they're able to use and what they pay to use and things like that. It can be good music, but I'm sorry, if I'm looking forward to some sort of training or something like that, I just want to go in and get I'm absolutely the same in IRL events as well. I get really frustrated when I am going to a conference or a convention or something, and it's supposed you've been told about this speaker and it starts at this time, and then you get there and find out that speaker's not actually, there's actually 20 other speakers, which you didn't know about any of them because it wasn't in anything. And they are all before your speaker, and you're sort of just sitting there I didn't sign up for any of this. I signed up for a 9 o'clock thing thinking I'm going to be out of here by lunch, only to find out that you've actually got to stay until after lunch to see the person you want to see. So, yeah. Russell says, wondering if your bandwidth is locally challenged, looking like you are buffering Circle a couple of times. Let me have a look here. I got excellent stream health on my end. I'm having some issues with my actual camera, but not with my internet at the moment. In the words of Roxette, don't bore us, get to the chorus. That's awesome. Or a concert with 4 support acts first and you want to be in bed before it starts. Prime example, actually, my daughter booked concert tickets. She went all the way into the city for a concert. It was a weeknight. The concert started at 6:30. They found out, once they got there, that the actual band wasn't starting until 10. And the last train out of town back home again was at 11, so they had to leave at 10:30 to get back to the train station. So she spent all this money on a ticket and then didn't even get to see the concert because she had to be able to get home because she was going to get stuck in the city. So yeah, it was just, it's crazy. They need to make these things clearer before you spend your money. And it's the same with live streaming. Are you expecting your audience to sit through a pile of irrelevancies to them before they get to the meat? Now, it's one thing to have a bit of a lead in and it's other interesting stuff to your audience. That's a totally different conversation. But it is just one of these sorts of like, I don't know. It's a thing that bugs me. Does it bug you? Let me know. Amazing Yacht Destination said everything's good on his side. So that's good. That's good to know. Thank you very much. Oh, that happens all the time. It's frustrating. Yes, it is. Russell says, are we into the tangential off-topic part of the stream yet? It's my favorite part. Yes, we are. We are. We're going to keep doubling back to it, as I do, but we're technically there. We're technically there, Russell. Oops, I brought it back up again. So yeah, it's if you are streaming, if you are creating content, you need to get to the meat straight away. There's no dancing around the side salad first. You're trying to attract the viewer. You've attracted them with your thumbnail and your title. They've clicked. That's what they're coming for. Don't bait and switch and make it totally like about something else. Like I did at the start. Don't bait and switch just to do something else because you're like, oh, they'll come in for this, but I really want to sell this other thing, or I really want to talk about this other thing, but I know they won't come for that. So I'll do that, and I'll do that as well, but I'll do this other thing first. They have to sit through it. And I kind of feel that way sometimes about some, like in some sponsors, right? I'm just going to like throw it all there. Some sponsors actually want you to go in and do their sponsor bit before you give your audience any kind of value whatsoever. And I don't agree with that. Like, pause in the middle of the value, do the sponsor thing, continue on with the value. You don't have to wait till the end. I get that. But that sponsor bit, other than like a brief, hey, this video was sponsored by such and such, and then get into the thing and then go, okay, now let's, talk about this sponsor thing and give them what they're paying for and then move back onto your, but like to have, and I've read some really, really like, there are sponsors who ask for 5 minutes of a thing. I've never said yes to any of those sponsors because I'm like, 5 minutes straight off the bat about that. Is it like, will my audience even care? Like, how will they feel about 5 minutes? Like straight away about a thing that's not about the topic of the video. And so I try to think of like, what would Linus do? Which I know is a weird thing, all right? What would Linus do? He does his segues a little bit. They're quirky and they're fun, and that's what I love about them. But he has given value to his audience first. Every time. There is some value for the audience first. We need to go into our videos. Like I don't know. I always think of it like, because I watch a lot of YouTube. Like, let me know in the chat. Are you a YouTube consumer as well as a YouTube creator? I watch a lot of YouTube, and like when I used to do lighting for theatre, whenever I went and watched a theatre show, I'd actually look up in the rigs and check out what they were doing. And it would take away from the experience a little bit, like, let's not lie. Because I would kind of be like, oh, they've turned on this. Oh, there's a follow spot. Oh, like I would know some of the stuff. And so now when I'm watching YouTube over the years, I'm more saying, oh, okay, we're leading into a segue. Oh, here we go. That was really well done, or that was janky. So you learn all these things about what works for you as a viewer. And then you can sort of take that and go, okay. So for me as a viewer, I found this jarring and not in the positive jarring way. So I don't want to do that. So learn to avoid how to do that. But this was really well done, and I would love to learn how to do that better. And you can navigate some things that way. Amazing Yacht Destination says, I am more of a consumer than a creator. Fair enough. But like, and this was the thing, like I consumed a lot of YouTube before I started YouTube as well. That's what made me realize I could do this. I could make a video, I think. My biggest concern back in 2016 was that I was too old for YouTube. And I was really worried about that. And then I went into and watched more of the content in my space. and realized, no, not too old for YouTube. These guys are doing great, and they are probably older than me, if not definitely older than me. So age is not a barrier in my space on YouTube. And I realized, like Rhett and Link and Hank and John, they were all a similar age to me. Now, they're different content and different. They've been around a really long time and they'd built their audiences, but their audiences didn't fall away just because they aged, right? And so I was like, okay, all right. So age actually isn't a barrier to YouTube. The whole "I'm too old for YouTube" fallacy, it's not real. And so once I got past that, which it took me a bit to get past that. And now I've aged another 8 years because it's not going to stop. Each year I'm going to age another year. And so understanding that the age is not a barrier was a big one for me. And then I was able to sort of just get in and do what I wanted to do, because it turned out that was actually a huge mental barrier for me. And working out what your barriers are and how you can get around them, whether it's technology, like the mental game. The mental game is a huge portion that a lot of people don't really talk about, because we do put our own fears and stuff into things, right? Like you guys know I'm a bit sensitive when people talk about, my physical appearance in my comments. I'm sensitive to that topic. And so I've blocked a lot of words that really upset me a lot, and the others are like annoying more than anything else, right? So I was like, okay, I can ad block words, so I can navigate around it. It won't stop me. I might pause and read things and be affected, but it's not going to stop me. And so because the words that do stop me are in the block words list. So I was able to do that. And then once I was able to start navigating around some of these things, I realized I was actually still going forward, right? I wasn't just going sideways. Like, if you're caught in a rip and you end up going along the beach, but you're not actually getting any closer to the beach. I realized I was actually making headway. And once I realized that, a lot of that stuff became more secondary. It was like, yes, that does still hurt my feelings. Yes, that does still bother me. However, I'm not going to stop. Let's have a look. Amazing Destination says, I'm with you. I like to incorporate what I see and like. Yeah. And because you already know it works, because it's worked for them. You might tweak it up and change it, and it may not work for you in exactly the same way, but in theory it works. John says, the technology is easy for me, but people hurting my feelings is hard. Yeah, I get that. I totally get that. John says, do people get an error message if they use a block word? It just doesn't post. So they get to scream into the void. They think it's gone through. They think their vitriol and their hate is out there. No, it's not. Doug's out here dropping the GIFs. Go, Doug. Is it common to people what lives just to criticize? I'm not quite sure if I understand. Is it common? Is it common for people that watch lives just to criticize? What I've found is, at least for me, vertical streaming. Those that watch the lives in the vertical streams tend to be less of your audience. Like, you've hit a broader reach, right? You've hit a broader reach, and that is technically a good thing. But the downside of that is, in that broader reach, there are people that do just watch lives to criticize. They enjoy the trolling, and they're not fun trolls. They're not kind trolls, which I've had some of those that have actually turned into regular viewers. These are people who do just love to spew hate into the comments, and they do it just for the reaction. I recently saw a live stream where a streamer copped it. The only people watching her stream were people, or at least the only people commenting on her stream were people just spewing hate into the chat. And she was busy. She couldn't monitor the chat at the same time. She could see it, but she was doing stuff with her hands, so she couldn't moderate it. And it was awful. It was awful. But it's just one of these things. It comes down to the kind of person they are and what they consider entertaining. So, and you have to understand and expect that they'll be there. So you can prepare yourself as best as possible. So how I prepare myself as best as possible is I have well-populated blocked words lists. I don't stream unless I actually have a YouTube window open so I can moderate directly from into YouTube. Like if Doug wasn't here, I could just grab my mouse and be, moderating myself. I prefer to have someone else moderate for me so I can focus on you. But I also know that that's not always something that we can do. And sometimes we have to moderate it ourselves. So even though I have Ecamm open on this screen, I have two screens running. But even when I have a single screen, I split screen. I will have the streaming software on one and then YouTube on the other. I want that YouTube chat. I need to be able to, if I need to, be able to jump in and defend the chat, basically. Pull out the sword and defend the chat. And so I need to be able to do that. And that's part of my mental game. So that's part of my preparation, is making sure that if Doug wasn't here, that the chat was not abandoned, right? And I know Doug's working, so he can't focus on this 100% because he's got other priorities. And that's the same for most people's moderators, that they usually have something else they need to be doing or keeping an eye on or whatever at the same time. So, which is why it's usually better to have more than one moderator in a chat, especially like if you've got a few people. This is fine. You guys are awesome. But even if your software means you don't have to have the YouTube window open, if I've got the bandwidth for it, like if my computer can hack it and I've got the internet for it, I have it open. And if otherwise I have it on my phone, because I have been in a situation where my computer couldn't hack it. So what I would do is I would have it on my phone, and my phone would be watching it on with data, so not using the Wi-Fi, and just muted it. So it was just playing through mobile data. And so I would have it still there so I could see it. And just, it's harder to moderate on a phone, which is why the managing moderator tools on a mobile is stupid. I just want to say that, YouTube. Having them only on the mobile is stupid. Because I have to have both my phone open and a desktop open for moderating streams that I moderate on, where I'm managing moderator. It is dumb. Please bring it to desktop. Please bring the managing moderator tools to desktop. All right, let's have a look here in the chat. I got sidetracked. Russell says, major mental blocks are shiny object syndrome, imposter syndrome, and worthiness, the feeling that you don't deserve success. I tick a lot of those boxes. A lot of those boxes, if not all. Yeah, absolutely. And there are some days that are better than others. And there are some days where I actually am confident that I am worthy of the jobs that I have managed to secure for myself, the clients that I've secured. And there's other days where I think, why did they do that? Am I like a pity hire? Like, am I? Like, I don't know. And then, like, the reality is no one has a pity hire, right? Like, no one hires someone as a pity hire. But that actually does go into my head every now and again. So, yeah, it's just one of these things where yeah. Oh, you've removed. I see it, Doug. Let's cut the scrap ass. What is stupid? It's okay. I've got it. What I'm talking about is there's tools for managing moderators. So when you Doug is you can see that he has the blue wrench. So he is a moderator. right? But what you can't see is Doug is also a managing moderator on my stream. So there's now 2 levels of moderators. So there's managing moderators and standard moderators. Standard moderators can remove comments, time people out for various amounts of time, and boot them from the stream. So I suppose we're lucky that Doug didn't accidentally boot you from the stream. Or hide you from the channel is actually what it says. And they can open up and see all the comments that a person has left on a channel, things like that, to work out if they're a permanent troll or if they're just struggling with words to get a comment out. So that's what a standard moderator do. A managing moderator can do all of those things, as well as from their mobile only, which is where the stupid part comes in. They can't do it from desktop. They can go in and add words to the block words list. They can change the stream from, everyone being able to comment to subscriber only, or they can also go in and change it to slow down the stream. So if there's like 1 million comments and I just can't keep up, they can jump in and slow down the stream for me so I can keep up with the comments. There's other things I'd love for managing moderators to be able to do, like add a poll into the field. Like if I'm trusting them with something like my block words list, I think I can trust them to add a poll. There's other things I wish that they could do, but if they could do it from a desktop, it'd be so much better. That's what's dumb, is that the managing moderator tools are not available from desktop. I actually have a little video, like 4-minute video here on the channel, all about what managing moderators can do. Please go and watch that. Russell says, another fear is leaving your comfort zone after seeing a little initial success. Yes. Yes. I saw, Russell, were we in the same stream? I don't know if you were there or not, where they were talking about creating, what's the word I'm looking for? Where people think that you are good at something. My brain won't give me the word, sorry. Like social proof, creating social proof by actually using more than one studio. So, you'll be out in the backyard and you're like, oh, I have a thought, create a video. And so the background is your back garden or whatever. Or, oh, I had a thought and the background is a nice tidy kitchen, which is probably why we don't do it in mine, because I leave the toaster on the bench and, the stove needs a clean. So I don't want to do it in there. But having like, they were like, oh, creating this social proof by having multiple backgrounds and not just restricting yourself to this one space. And I sort of was sitting there thinking, does me always streaming with this pretty much exact setup? Like there's always something different on this table because it depends on what project I'm working on. But everything else is pretty much the same. Does that give me less social proof? I don't know. I don't know. John says, I thought your stream was glitching, but then I realized it was just that the emote wall is on. And Doug went hard with the game over. He did. Hopefully not that. Yeah. No one approves a pity hire. I agree with you. I do. Mentally, I know. Okay. I get it. I really do. But there are days when my brain's like, well, they're just keeping you on. They'll sack you. They will. Don't expect to have a job next week. And every time I invoice, I think, well, this will be the last time I get paid. Every single time I invoice, I've done nothing wrong. I've provided the service that I've agreed to. But every single time I invoice, I think, well, that's it. This will be the last one. And I don't know why that's in my brain, but it is. So, Doug's agreeing. Are you agreeing with what I think managing moderators should be able to do? I think that's what you're agreeing to. I'm going to take it. That's what you're agreeing to? Amazing Yacht Destination says, yes, Twitch allows mods to do polls. It needs to be added to YouTube. Yeah, like YouTube out there gleaning other platforms, tools and features. I want that one. I want that one. And a back chat for moderators. Like, seriously. That's what I want. I don't want to have to utilize another platform or utilize like a chat over on Twitter or Discord. I want it just to be all here, but it's not. Amazing at Destination says, I don't think it matters. Your background matters, but is it topic dependent? Yeah. Yeah. Russell says, oh, I love this. I was not in the stream, but I find the concept of multiple backgrounds creating social proof as 98% bovine scat. I appreciate you coming up with another way to write that. But yes, I was just like, oh, am I being taken less seriously because I always have the same setup? I'm not going to change it because this is my this is my comfort zone. I've created a space that made it so I could stream without worrying like, oh, what's my background like? Is it tidy? Is it whatever? Because this space is always tidy because it's how I work in this space. I clear the desk daily. I take out all the coffee cups and I spray and wipe everything down and I keep it as little dusty as possible so I don't cough during streams. And, like I work on this is my space that I can do that with. So it's just, one of those things. And so this is my spot where I feel the most professional. Does that make any sense? Yeah. Sounds like that's all part of the same. Yeah, it is. It absolutely is, Russell. You are right. I love the same setup. This is like going to where we feel good. Yeah. And this is the thing. It's like, I know, like for my Fiberific live streams, I've got a tape measure just right here. If I need stitch markers, they're just right here. Everything, like if I need a pen and paper, I've got it. If I need, if I need to drop in an extra phone for another camera angle, I've got a plug right there. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I've got everything within arm's reach to be able to do what I want to do. So, I found the whole concept of it like, really? I'm taken less seriously because I don't have various places that I might make a video from or do a stream from. I do them all in this exact setup. And I just thought it was really weird. And it's one of those things where I was like, okay, let me think about the people I respect most on the platform. Think about the channels that I watch to learn from and all that. And I realized that there's one craft channel. She moves around. Love that she does. Because it's just comforting, right? It's different. But whenever she is teaching something, she's always in the same spot. But her B-roll of her crafting, she could be on the couch. She could be at the dining table. You know what I mean? Like, so that's one thing. But Nick Nimmin is always either in his studio or in the studio he shares with him and Dee. Brian G. Johnson is just about always in his studio. Every now and again, he'll move to somewhere else. He does change his studio every 15 seconds, but it's still the same studio. You've got Primal Video. He's always in his studio. Roberto Blake is always in his studio. Like, I had to think about it. And that, like, yes, they might have some extra camera angles, but they are usually in the same space, and it's just a slight, like if I turned on my other camera, it'd be a slight camera angle shift. And I realized to me, I need, like Russell's saying here, in actual fact, it's likely I produce a better product because I have everything organized. And I think that's it. For me, I need that structure and that organization to create the better end product. So, yeah. Hey, Amazing Yacht Destinations, have an awesome day. Yes, this was what Russell was saying. So in actual fact, it's likely you produce a better product as you have everything organized. I still have to run out to go and grab stuff every now and again because I've forgotten something I wanted to show or whatever. Or I get sidetracked, like, hello, shiny things. And it's just like, oh, wait, I've got this other thing. Hang on. And I'll run off and get it. Or Louis will bark and I'll have to run off. But I find I can be more professional. Like, all right, like truth time. I swear a lot, right? When I'm talking to people in real life, I have to really consciously think about where I am, what I'm doing. If I'm in a professional environment, I obviously swear less. But when I'm out with my friends or out chatting with my family, whatever, I swear a lot. But when I'm in this chair with this camera on, I don't swear. And it's because this is my workspace. And in my work environment, I don't swear. Or I try to swear a lot less. Like things slip out every now and again. But I try very hard not to swear, right? Yeah, I know a 7-figure creator that stands in front of a plant and a shelf of junk in a t-shirt and it works for him. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Doug's waving. Hey, Doug. Oh, but yeah, it's definitely and like the t-shirt thing, Russell, now that you've mentioned it, I used to be like, oh, I wore this shirt last week, or oh, let me just iron a shirt. Let me do something different. I will. And I found it struggle to batch record because I'd have to have a pile of shirts all pressed and ready and hung up because I would need to change shirts and I would feel the need to change my hairstyle and adjust my makeup so it didn't look like I was actually recording everything on the same day. And it was just like, none of that matters. It just doesn't matter. And like if I had to re-record something, I'd actually look at the footage, work out what I was wearing and try and redo it to try and match it. And I was just like, none of that matters. None of it. Are you comfortable? Are you tidy? Like some people find the fact that I wear t-shirts distracting because I don't know why. They do. That's on them. Some people find women in low-cut tops distracting. Some people find men with neck beards distracting. You know, like some people find some additional nose hair distracting. Like there's always something about someone's appearance that may be distracting. But are you clean? Are you tidy? I mean, if you're a plumber, ignore the clean and tidy. You've just been digging a ditch, whatever. Do you, boo. But in my instance where I'm sitting in, you know, a static space, for me, clean, tidy, I can't always control my hair, I'm sorry. It does have a mind of its own. And ready to and prepared. They're my things. Clean, tidy, prepared. Did I clean the lens? Is the lens clean? That's it. Russell, I've removed comments over on the Fiberific channel because I got asked if I owned any other shirts. And I was just like what? And like that, oh, you shouldn't wear black because blah, 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 whatever reasons, you know. And you're just like, okay. I really have had these comments. I haven't had a ton of them because of the levels and stages of my channels. I don't get tons of comments, but I haven't had a ton of them, but I've absolutely had them. I actually had to remove, like, fingernails is a blocked word on my Fiberific channel because I'm a nail biter, right? I've tried everything. The only thing that stops me from biting my nails is actually having fake nails. And I really struggle to do anything. I struggle to do anything with even short fake nails. I struggle to type. And so I had fake nails for like a year and a half. And they were cute and I loved them. but I really struggle with them. But the number of comments I would get of my tutorials for teaching knitting and crochet were things like, cannot, like, love your teaching style, but can't focus because of your hideous nails. And like, I got a friend to check for me, like, are they hideous? It's just like, no, they're just got bitten edges and they're a bit short. Like, I don't destroy fingers. I don't, chew on anything other than a little bit of nail, right? Like, and I get that some people find nail biting a disgusting habit. I'm sorry, I'm a nervous person. I don't even realize I'm doing it until my husband goes, why are you biting your nails? And you're like, don't know. But yeah, it's just, some people feel the need to mention stuff. Add it into your block words list so you never have to see it again. That's all you can do. Frankie over 50 says, I wore the same black shirt and red hat for every video for a couple of years. I love that. Actually, in Australia, there was so much conversation over what the female presenters of the Today Show were wearing that Karl Stefanovic decided to try something, and he wore exactly the same blue suit and tie for something like 6 months, and he received not one single comment, whereas one of the newsreaders wore the same suit, I think it was twice in 2 weeks, and someone commented. I think there's just a different standard. It's frustrating. Yeah, you can appreciate that. They're a tough group. I know I got a bad comment the other day. It made me laugh, but I guess I need to get ready for the haters, huh? I don't know if you need, like, I think you need to set some systems in place. You don't have to deal with haters. You can divert them off, or try to divert them off. Yeah, people don't have anything else to do, I'm assuming. Yeah. Now I'm really curious how you'll tie hideous nails back to you don't need a third party. I can't. That one is, we're in the tangential area. I can't bring that one back. We might be able to do a 6 degrees of separation back to third party live streaming software, but I can't. All I can say is that some third-party softwares let you moderate better than others. That's it. Oh my gosh, so funny. But yeah, it's just part of the game, right? It's part of the game. And while, yeah, in the words of Tay, haters are gonna hate. Yes, they are. They really are. And anything in particular that really does stress you out or send you in a spiral or whatever it is, drop it into your block words list and then you won't see it. Things like if there's anything in particular, some people are so shallow, all they can see is your physical appearance. They can't get past the fact of your physical appearance to actually get any of the information that you've shared. Those people are not your audience. I don't know whose audience they are, but those people are not your audience. If they can't see past something about your person to take on the information, then they're not your audience, and you can use whatever means necessary to block their comments, to delete their comments, to boot them from your channel, right? You don't need to worry about them. Some people, like some creators, like to convert the haters. They like to go out of their way to try and get them to see the other side. If you want to do that, by all means do that. For me, I don't have the mental energy for that. I'm one of these, I really struggle with small talk. I struggle with sort of just like, I can deal with facts and I can share a fact, but each individual's personal preference or personal pickiness or whatever it is that makes them decide they're going to comment about something that's totally not relevant to the conversational topic of your video or your live stream. Aside from, our tangential stuff, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like nastiness. Those people have got their own issues. And whether they do it for fun or not, if somebody trolls for fun, like, and I'm not just talking like a little bit of fun light trolling, I'm talking those people that actually come in hard and are cruel, they still have issues. They're like, oh, I do it for fun. Yeah, you write this sort of stuff and put it in a public place and wait for someone's reaction to it, and that is somehow fun to you, there's an issue that needs to be worked through. That true, they make me laugh. Yep. My favorite saying is, you're over the target when the flack gets intense. Yep, absolutely. I find them amusing. I hope it stays that way, but some people can really push your buttons. Yeah, they certainly try. Yeah. And so trying to get through that mental game and not letting it stop you, right? Like there was a comment many years ago that nearly did stop me. I thought I was being oversensitive, right? Like, because, I do get oversensitive, right? I'm not going to lie. I do get hurt by comments and stuff every now and again. And sometimes, I get indignant, and sometimes I want to come out swinging on something that may or may not necessarily deserve it. It's just one of these things where this particular comment was, I don't know if it was my mental state on that particular day or whatever, but this comment really hit me hard. And I'm not going to repeat it because it was bad, right? I got some friends of mine to go and check it for me because I thought I need some perspective here. And I was just like, look, I don't know if it's me just being super sensitive or is this person being real, a real pig. And they've come back and they were just like, you're going to remove that, right? And I was just like, well, like, are they wrong? Like, are they just, because like having a different opinion is not necessarily bad. It's how it's worded is the issue. And they're like, no, that needs to go. And I was like, no, I'm going to leave it. Well, next thing you know, I'm spotting my community members, not the girls that I'd asked to go and look at it for me, but other people responding like, oh my God. So I was like, okay, this is actually affecting more than just me. This is affecting the whole. So I did go in and remove the comment. But sometimes we can be like, no, we don't need to leave these. We can leave these comments, free speech, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is that's not how free speech works, not even in the USA. And just understanding that you don't have to leave it there. It doesn't have to stay. If something really offends you or is affecting your community in a negative way, you absolutely can remove that. I convert them with the hide user from channel. I never hear from them again, and it's 100% effective. I love that. Oh, hang on. Go back to the next one. When I comment on certain channels, I sometimes get personally attacked for being pro YouTube. I'm not taking that. I will reply with extreme prejudice. Doug, I've seen some of those comments, and I know the places you're talking. If people are not, like people in the creator space, if they're not pro YouTube, what are they doing here? Go to another platform. Like, seriously. It's not to say you can't have issues with the YouTube features. You can't have issues with how they implement things. Like, I have issues with this stuff. But I'm still absolutely pro YouTube. And as anybody who I think that could have a channel and or wants help with their channel, I will get in there and do what I need to do. I think we should all be pro YouTube, but not blinded. Not be like, nope, YouTube can't do anything wrong. YouTube is the best. YouTube has nothing to fix. No, YouTube is absolutely awesome. YouTube has the best discoverability when it comes to like search and, and back catalog and resurfacing of great. That they're perfect at everything? No. Let's see, but Doug, you are pro YouTube. Yes. Yeah, but they don't say it in the nice way that's like, hey, you're pro YouTube. That's great. No, they do. They call him a shill. Speaking positively and getting called a shill. I'll take it. Let's cut the crap. Let's cut the scraps. Sorry. Sorry. I'm sorry about that. I do the same. Careful now, they're listening. And this is the thing, right? We always need to remember, we don't know who's watching our content. There could absolutely be someone from YouTube watching my live stream. Very unlikely. Very unlikely that this channel is getting any interest from the higher ups out there, right? Very unlikely that you know, I'm upsetting anybody, right? But not 100%, but not 100% definite. Absolutely someone could be watching it. I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at who's watching it right now, and I think I know exactly who's here. But definitely not 100% certain. I've every now and again I've gotten a comment from someone and I was just like, okay. Yeah, Doug was. Yes, that was the thing, wasn't it, Doug? On one of the times, hang on, bring it here. There we go. Add it to the broadcast. You were responding to comments on a YouTube channel and got called out by some rando in the comments area for being a YouTube shill, and you're just like, you're here watching content specifically created for YouTube creators to learn what's happening on YouTube, made by YouTube, and you're in the chat. Like, I just like, I'm sorry, what now? Like, what? I didn't get it. I just like, yeah, silly kids, no social awareness. Unfortunately, there's sometimes silly adults with no social awareness as well. Like, that's the thing. It's not just the kids. I really wish it was just the kids and that you could just be like, oh, they'll learn. No, there's definitely some older that should know better. There are some creators who really dislike YouTube, but they mostly aren't on YouTube. There are some creators that really dislike YouTube that are on YouTube, and that the majority of their income comes from YouTube. And it's just like, there's no gratitude there. Like, do you know how much it costs to host your own content? Like, do you have any idea? But they probably do, which is why they're hosting it on YouTube. But yeah, it's like, there's a certain age. Like, is it just us of the certain age? It could be wrong. I could be making assumptions here, that realize that hosting is not free. Like, if you want to host not on YouTube, it's actually quite expensive. So I don't know. Hey, Geology Dude, great to see you. We are in the not quite on topic segment of the stream, but if you do want some questions answered, drop them in the chat. Absolutely. This is the part of the show where we got Doug railed. I mean, yeah. Absolutely. My coffee is cold and empty. That's awful. That's an awful state of the... I'm just going to make sure that lid's on properly or I'll wear that. Yeah. Look, I agree to a level, right? Like, if your income comes from YouTube, it becomes a job, and not everyone loves their job. I just read John Lacey's comment, and now my brain has gone. Anyway, back to this one. If YouTube has become your job and your income has become dependent on YouTube, why would you be anti-YouTube? Like, I get that not everybody loves their job, right? And look, I've been in the position where I had to make some decisions about YouTube because of the whole, like, I started a business originally. Fiberific was started off the back of the fact that I am a fiber crafter and I love knitting and crocheting and spinning and weaving and dyeing, right? So that's where Fiberific started with. I love this. Let's turn that into a business. And then it became a bigger business. and then it became a huge business, like for one single person to run, with no staff and no team. And I had to make decisions based off like the fact that I actually needed to sleep and spend time with my family. And then I sort of went in and had to make some changes. Now, this wasn't anti-YouTube stuff. This was just that I needed to make changes to my business and how I was doing things for my own health, and then, make adjustments and changes. And we all have to do that every now and again. We all need to take stock, work out, am I on the right path? Do I need to make any adjustments, any changes to any aspects of my career? And make those changes as necessary, right? It's just part of it. But if you are a YouTube creator on YouTube, making the majority of your income either directly from YouTube or from a business that is basically getting all its marketing from your YouTube, and then you're also a YouTube hater, I think you need to have a little look at some stuff and make some decisions. Like, do you hate YouTube, or are you frustrated by a couple of their policies? Because if you hate YouTube so much, go somewhere else. Like, seriously, there's options. They're not as good, but there are options. Humans are complex, conflicted, emotional animals. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Russell's out here checking to see if he's got any nasty comments. 1,800 views and no nasty comments yet. Maybe I've removed all my haters. Maybe you have. And did you check your held for comments? Like your comments held? Because that's where all the ones go that, if you've got block words and stuff, that's where they go. I every now and again, I'll have a little look through just to double check that something, I try not to, I'm like, YouTube has made it so these are not public, so that is good. So I try not to take any of them on board as much as I can. But every now and again, something gets held that shouldn't have been held, and you need to go and make that live again. Kick or Rumble will have them. Absolutely they will. They'll totally have them. For sure. You're much more likely to experience lurkers than haters. I got no issues with lurkers. No issues with lurkers. I quite often am a lurker. I want to have something on in the background, but I can't actually sit there and chat because I've got to do something else. I get it. Absolutely get it. Oh, 0 in held. Like, double win, Russell. Double win. Yeah, I'm okay with lurkers. I get it. I totally get it. Sometimes I even secretly appreciate lurkers a little bit more because they really don't have whatever, ability to be able to join the chat, but they're still there while you're live. Like, at least the lurkers I have over on Fiberific, they're awesome. They're usually, I had this one lady, she's actually a friend of mine now. And she was telling me that, because my live streams over there are on a Thursday morning Australian time, right? So she's at work, she's in the office, and she would set her phone up under her monitor with a little headphone in on the side away from the door of her office, and sit there working while listening to the chat, right? So it's just sort of sitting here and just working away. And then one day, one of the, because it's not her office alone, there's another lady in the office, to the point where the other lady in the office started running interference anytime someone tried to talk to her while she was watching the streams. And she would just sit there lurking, she wouldn't comment. Next time I saw her in real life, she'd mention something about a live stream and I'd be like, oh, I didn't know. Oh, she goes, oh, I watch every week. Sometimes lurkers lurk for a reason, So I get 0 issue with lurkers. 0 issue. I get it. Also, especially if you're new in a chat and you don't know how that chat's going to take your comment. I've been in chats where I commented something, I asked a question, I wasn't being disrespectful in any way. I just had a question about the content. And oh my gosh, that particular squad live audience were like, oh my God, why don't you just scrub back to the start? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize it was at the start. I'll definitely do that. But they piled on. you know? And so I just started lurking in that particular. I liked the content. I didn't like the attitude in the chat. Which is why I very much try to have inclusive chat, especially for new people coming in, because sometimes they haven't really joined into a chat before and they don't know what. Oh, this is a Yeti. It's just my big water bottle Yeti. That's all. I'm out of coffee. But they don't, they don't know what to say. They don't know how to engage. They want to be part of your digital community, but it's their first time. It's like if you went to somewhere in real life and snuck in the back door, or snuck in the front door and just sort of stood there sort of gauging the room and realizing there's all these clicks and I don't want to be part of any of those clicks. You just sneak back out again, right? So, yeah. Geology Dude's going to be my official lurker for today's video. Thank you, Geology Dude. Appreciate you lurking. John says, sometimes I'll post something on Facebook and no one will like or reply, but then I'll be running a joke at then it will become the running joke at a family Christmas gathering. See, so they're seeing it. They're just not getting it. They're just not getting it. I get it. Oh, sorry. Is it not working? It's been a bit glitchy. I couldn't, in the Fiberific stream, all the commands for the GIFs would work, but the commands for the in-chat stuff, like the list and EV they wouldn't work. And so, yeah, I think it just gets a little glitchy sometimes. But yeah, we've got the Yeti in the chat. We've got the hydrate. Doug says, I know that reference. I can't remember what I was talking about. I don't know. Oh, but there we go. See, that one works now. EV works. It didn't. I tested that one. I was looking for the Fiberific Discord because somebody asked for the Discord and I could not get it to work. And I had to, one of the mods, can you please go and grab a link to the Discord? So hydrate works. Yes, it does. I think they're all working. I just think it was maybe no one had used it. Or did the Yeti work? I saw the Yeti come up earlier. I saw it come up. Now I understand what you're talking about. There we go. Doug's. Oh, maybe. Does it care about capitalization? Huh. I don't know. So Doug's doing all lowercase. That'd be a good test to run. Maybe it cares about capitalization. You going with glitchy? Yeah. It does. It cares about capitalization. What? Come here, Social Stream Ninja software. Dashboard, come here, please. There we go. Down to this. I've got it set to custom GIF commands. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't, you can't turn off yeah, it cares about capitalization. All right. Let's try it like a lowercase, just all lowercase. See if that works. Now I'm curious because I think Doug's had the Yeti pop up a couple of times throughout the stream today by going all lowercase. But yeah, squirrel works. Thanks, Doug. There's the Yeti. It is. That's annoying. That's so annoying. Oh, it worked on my end, Russell. I saw it. Are you guys seeing them? Hydrate works. Yeah. I'm just checking the actual like live feed to see if it's coming up in the live feed. It's a couple of seconds. There's the squirrel that worked. And the Yeti worked. It came through. All right, it did. No, so what happens is they'll back up. So it came directly after the squirrel. So Doug had done the squirrel, and even though Russell had typed it really quickly, it had to wait till the squirrel was done and then the Yeti worked. But it definitely appeared in the public stream. I just watched it. I just watched it appear in the public stream. So yeah, it does. It delays. It delays it. So, but it is case sensitive. That's a bit dumb. Now my question is, should I go in and make it a capital Y for the Yeti? Because brand name. But then I need to do that for EV Mux as well. So I don't know. Interesting. I didn't realize it was case sensitive. Bizarre. I wonder if that's something we could talk to the dude about. Oh, Russell says maybe they can no longer come to the US. It might be a tariff issue. Oh, don't even get me started on that stuff, Russell. Jeez. But no, I'm seeing it in the publicly pushed out stream. So I don't know why you're not seeing it. I do not have one set up for tariff. And if I did, it probably would not be nice. Henceforth, I don't want to make one. Yeah, Steve, that's his name. Yeah, he does. He has the Discord over, and I'm a member. But I'm like, maybe that's something I could ask. Like, does anybody actually care? Like, now that we know it's case sensitive, do we need to worry about it? Like, if we just remind everyone it is actually case sensitive? I don't know. Is it something we need to worry about? Maybe. Maybe. I'm just like writing the tariff just in case I do decide I want to. Maybe in case I want to do something. I don't know. Prob's not. Prob's not. They do. It changes so fast I can't keep up. Oh, I searched the Discord channel for case sensitive and a bunch of stuff pops up. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah, because it's definitely case sensitive. So we've worked it out. It is definitely case sensitive. And now that we know it's case sensitive, we can work around that. So, and like this is the thing. If I was not using a third-party encoder, I couldn't have this. Right? Because I need something that allows me to bring in a browser layer. And I can't do that directly within YouTube itself. So I need the third party encoder just so we can have fun with the GIFs and with the the emoji wall and all the other bits and pieces that are super fun and that are just I don't know. Something I do want to test out, Doug, like while I've got your ear, is you remember how we tested out if I could add the on-screen comments to your stream through Video Ninja, or sorry, through Social Stream Ninja, and it worked out that I could. I wonder if it would allow us do the same thing with polls. Like if you had, I mean, I've got polls set up, so I can bring up a poll on my screen. So I've already added it in. Like I've got a Stream Ninja poll here, right? If I create a poll, I can add it to my stream. If I had it open, would you be able to add the poll? I don't know. So, you know, being able to have that, like, if, yeah, it's, I don't know. Anyone with the Social Stream Ninja URL can trigger the chat in your stream. So yeah, oh yeah, I would never, like, I would share with Doug and you know, one of my other managing moderators, like somebody I trusted enough to be a managing moderator. Would I, you know, like if I trust them to do that, I could trust them with this, right? Oops, that's what I want to turn off. So yeah, so it's one of those things. Like, if I gave someone like Doug the access to the polls and was just like, hey, can you drop a poll? That could do that. Like I could already have it all set up, like as in graphically, because in Social Stream Ninja you can change how the polls. What I sent you was the chat selector, so that doesn't give me access to the settings menu. I wonder if that's something that we could send. Like if I sent you, let me just have a look here. I'm just opening up Social Stream Ninja on my end here. Just to see if that's, I don't know if it is something I can send. So let's have a look here. Where am I looking for the poll? Tip jar, Hive meter, bots, chat overlay. I don't know, but it's definitely something I want to have a look into, because that could be worth. There it is. I don't know. Does the poll controls work in the browser or in the settings menu? I think it's the settings menu. I think that's the difference here. I think you'd need to have access to my settings menu, which I don't think you can. That would be something very cool to be able to give to your oh, oops, there we go, to your managing moderators, is access to drop a poll. So yeah, it's definitely something to think about. Third-party tools are awesome. Don't be scared of them, newbies. Yeah, look, it's something good to play with, but my point was that you don't have to have them. Like, you can run a stream without them if you are so worried, or if you're in a situation where you're not at your usual spot, you can still stream. Let's have a look here. Yeah, well, and that's what we did. We did a test thing where I handled the comments. I brought the comments on screen. But I think that it was the timing that was off a little bit, because I was watching the put out stream and I was either bringing the comments on just a little bit late or a little bit early, or dropping them off when he was in the middle of talking about it. I think if we had been in the same room, it could have worked better, but not so much being, you know, suburbs apart. This is the software equivalent of shiny objects. It is absolutely. Yeah, it's in the settings window, I think. Yeah. I don't think there's a way for me to share that with somebody else. Yeah, that's right. It's only for the overlay. Yeah, Doug had to be hands off. I was just like, stop touching the comments. It was a fun test. It was a fun test. I don't know if, I wouldn't say it I mean, the actual functionality worked. I don't think the timing worked. And I also think that when we stream by ourselves, we get used to controlling things, right? Like, I'm going to bring that comment up and not that comment up. And I had to kind of judge, like, kind of like listening for when Doug was saying a comment so I could throw it up. But it was like the delays and things were the issues. But yeah, I don't know if it worked 100%. It was definitely worthy of a trial, for sure. Mm. But yeah, it's a fun one. But yeah, we don't need all these things. We don't. They're fun. They add interest. They like I was chatting with the Fiber Fit crew about some of the things that I'd implemented using this Social Stream Ninja. Like, is it too much? Are we being a bit silly? Um, is it? And they're like, no, we love them. We love them. Oh, okay. Let's Cut the Crap has a question. Talking about the third parties, may I ask about the links you shared? I know Ecamm, but the others are new to me. So, if you are, I think you were talking about Evie Marks. Let me just double check the description here, what we've got in the description. So we've got the resources page is my website. Okay, so that's just, you go to my website and it's got all my affiliate links or just all the stuff I recommend, even if I don't have an affiliate. It's all right there. So go and check out my website and you can see that at all times. So Ecamm, which is the one that I'm using right now. Evie Mux is a third-party encoder that is cloud-based. So whereas Ecamm is on your computer, Evie Mux is cloud-based. So it's really good if you've got a guest because you don't have to download the guest video onto your computer and then push it out or anything like that. You can do it all in the cloud and then they multi-stream. Excuse me. So it's fantastic for if you've got like low internet or lower internet speeds. If you're EV Mux, I think is another one that holds it open. So if something happens and you lose your signal, you can reconnect to it with another device and jump in and keep going with your stream. So it's got some similarities to StreamYard. There are some differences as well, but it's got some similarity to StreamYard. Tuber Tools is where I my Be Right Back screen. That's where I got the video for that. They make all the videos. They've got like a lot of they've got the Be Right Back, the Thanks for Watchings, the Starting Soons. They've got end screens. They've got like a whole pile of graphic stuff that are already made for creators, and a lot of different sorts of layouts and formats and like all different things, but it's all designed for YouTube creators and I think Twitch streamers as well. So there's a lot of different stuff in there, and some of it's animated, some of it's not, some of it's meant to be added into like your editing software. It's all very clear on what's for what. I love Tuber Tools because I'm not a graphic designer and that's somewhere I really struggle, and so having somewhere that's really inexpensive, like in the scheme of things, to go in and just grab some pre-made stuff that just looks really cool. So what I did, there's a video here on the channel where I grabbed the Be Right Back from Tuber Tools and then the music from Creator Mix and then put them together to create my scenes so that when I'm jumping out for like my Thanks for Watchings, my Starting Soons. And then in my editing software, I just joined them together, made them however long I wanted them, looped them over a couple of times and just went with that. Let me have a look here. What else have I got? Oh, Tube Spanner is the other link that I have here. Tube Spanner is awesome. So, and they've just done this massive revamp. So definitely worth going to check out. Please use my link if you can. Or just tubespanner.com/Chantelle. That one also works. And it's just this. It's a toolbox, right? A Tube Spanner is a toolbox of all different kinds of tools. But if you go and look at my, if you look at like bio.chantellehills.com, that page was made on Tube Spanner and it links to them. And I love their bio pages. They have script writing tools. They have places for you to make thumbnails, researching, social media calendars. Like it's this whole toolbox of all these different things for you to go and check out. And they've just done a massive revamp. And then you can also grab the Tube Spanner Chrome extension, which I love. That's also just been tweaked up. So it's got some little, it's still, being cleaned up a little bit. Every now and again it gets a bit glitchy. Still great. Definitely worth checking out. And then what else? What other links have I got in here? I've got my socials and then Creator Mix. So I don't know. Was there any other? Was there anything in the description there that you needed more on? Let me know if I wasn't clear enough on something. Let me know. Frankie over 50 says Tuber Tools graphics are really easy to edit as well and change the colors. Yeah, some of them are easier than others. Like so if they're moguts, so you can add them into your software. A lot of them will let you change the colors. Some of them are just that's the color it is. But normally the pack, like because you'll say you download a pack, it's usually like 5 or 6 colors in the pack. So you get like, and you can just have whichever one you want. But yeah, it's very clear what's included in a pack. So you can either buy each thing individually, or what I do, which is I pay annually. So I jump in and bought the annual package, which is just, it's like a drop in the ocean for the amount of time it saves me every single year when I want to refresh stuff up on Fibrific and on here and just, yeah, it was a drop in the ocean. But if you want to just, I do it annually because I use it all the time. But if you want to just drop in and buy 1 month's worth, it's definitely worth grabbing that. Russell says that he's Canva almost entirely. I use Adobe Express for a lot of my thumbnails, but this is not for like stuff that I change all the time. This is like for specific graphics that I want to upload into, like, you know, my end screens or something like that. If there's a particular and not so much a static thing, because I can usually jiggery pokery a static thing. For me, it was the moving things and the, like, you know, in the be right back screen, how it's like that video image. Those are the sorts of things I tend to grab more. So the things that are actually like animated, I'm not so good with that. And even I know Canva and Adobe Express do some of the animation stuff. I just found their stuff to be better. And it was a case of I spent time choosing what I wanted and then installing and using it. And I didn't have to build it. So it's one of those things like, do you want to build it? Build it. Absolutely. If you've got the skills, go ahead and do it. If you just want someone else to do it for you, then just, if they've got one that you like, then grab that. Neither are wrong. They're just different. So yeah. And these are just some tools that I love to use. That's all. They're ones that I actually use. EV Mux I've used a bit. I want to dig in more with EV Mux. I think that I'm really happy with what I've got here with Ecamm, but I'm on Australian internet, and Australian internet is not Australian internet is not as awesome as some of the other internets out there. Like if we're being really honest, like unless you are in the vast minority of the country who actually have fiber to the premises, which is few and far between, you don't have great internet. Like I have the best internet I can get in my area, short of paying contractors to roll fiber to my house, which was quoted at over $10,000, which I'm not paying. I have 100 gig down, and 10, no, it's not gig, 100 megabits down and 10 and 40 up. Is it megabits? My brain just won't even tell me. It's 100 down. Yeah, 100 megabits down and 40 up. That's the best I've got. That's the absolute best I've got. Russell says, can't you get satellite now? The only satellite internet available in Australia is Starlink. Not interested. And those that need it, like I've got a friend who's got Starlink. It's great for her because she had 4 down and less than 1 up trying to run a YouTube channel. So it made the world of difference to her, but it's still not great. It's still not anywhere near the speeds I've got. So, yeah. And your connection is very good. It is. Like, I have a solid connection. Like, my 100 down and my 40 up is totally solid. It's rock solid. And, you know, except for when we lose power, then there's none. Um, but it comes down to like I've got a good camera, so I've got a better image going into the upload. So it's not a webcam, it's a DSLR. But this is still only a 1080p stream. I'm not doing a 4K stream. But even then I've actually done them. I can do a 4K stream. My internet will allow that, but I am streaming to 2 destinations, like so here and LinkedIn, and so that's pushing out double because I'm using Ecamm rather than a cloud service. So I think that, like, when I very first started my live streaming, I had it was 6 down and 3 up, or 5 down and 3 up, and I was still able to live stream. Now, I had to stream at 720p, and I did have a little bit of, you know, it wasn't fantastic, but the stream was out there, and it was a solid stream, and my audience loved it. And so you don't need gigabit internet to stream. You need reliable internet that you can, you know, that's not glitchy. And so having a solid internet connection, albeit lower, I think is more important than having a high internet that might be glitchy. But you can also get beautiful high internet that's never glitchy. Like, I want that. Like, let's be honest, I really do want gigabit internet. I want to just be able to upload a video in like seconds and it's done, and I don't have to think about it. When I was uploading weekly on my old internet, I literally started the download of a 5-minute, you know, small, I would handbrake it down. It would be a small video size. It would still take 12 to 14 hours to upload, purely because my upload speeds were just so awful. So awful. Fiber optic is the way to go. I agree with you. I think Australian government were dumb. I really do. The plan originally was for Australia to have fiber optics to the house. That was the original plan for everybody. And then the government got involved. And like one government went, yes, look, let's do fiber optic. It's going to cost this many billions of dollars or millions of dollars. We'll do this. Then the other party got involved, and we had a change of government. And they went, no, we're not going to spend anywhere near that kind of money on it. We're going to halve the costs and just run fiber to the nodes, and then the copper to the nodes to all the houses. That'll save us so much money. Do you know what? It didn't, because the technology to connect the fiber to the copper didn't exist. So they had to invent the technology, and now it's all glitchy and awful. And it didn't save them any money. It cost just as much. So yeah, I think I would like fiber. I would like fiber to the premises as well. I would like the internet that Russell has. His internet is solid and stable and fast, and that would be amazing. Yeah, thank you. It was definitely megabits. Because my brain thinks in like file sizes, like everything's in gigs, right? And then it was just like, wait, no, my internet's not gigs. Russell says my 1.7 gig video uploaded in under 2 minutes. That's awesome. Although I don't think mine's slower for sure, but like I suppose I'm comparing it to like overnight, like running it, like I would set it before I went to bed at like 10 o'clock, and when I got up at 6 it was still running, and I'd go and do school run, and I'd come home, and around 9 o'clock it would be ready. So yeah, it would take a long time. It would take easily 12 hours. And that's if something janky didn't happen and it actually stopped the upload, and I had to just restart the upload again. Like, because that happened regularly. Let's cut the scrap. What is your current upload and download speeds where you are? Because I know not even everybody in the US has internets. Back at 2400 BAUD, I don't know what that is. It was a lot slower. I'm not, yeah. That flickering, that's an ant walking around the top of the sensor. It's being really annoying. Those little legs will poke in every now and again. Scared the crap out of me the other day. Like, let's be honest. Dial up. Oh, I did not internet. I did not YouTube during the dial up years. No. No. I think I started at ADSL 2 and then I got ADSL 2 plus. And then I went to cable internet, and that was next level. I did a dance at cable internet. And then not long after that, I was forced onto NBN, which I did not want to go to NBN, but it was always going to happen because it was the national broadband and everyone has to be on NBN if they want internet. So, but yeah, I don't use Starlink. I don't see that there's no advantage of it for me here, and I don't travel, so there's no advantage for me to have the mobility of it, but I definitely see the advantage for some people. I just wish there was some competition, and you had other options. So, but at the moment there's not. So anyway, everybody, we've been blathering about nothings. Well, they're not nothings, but about off-topic things for some time now. I need to get on and get some other work done today, and I'm sure you do as well, or you need to, oh, hang on a second. I have a 1 gigabit, but it only gets to 900s download when I use the Ethernet. What's your upload is the question. Like if you're interneting, if you're YouTubing, you need to upload. Your upload speeds is where it's at. BAUD was the bit rate. Oh, see, I always just said bit rate. See, yeah, I was always a bit rate person. Yeah, so when you do a speed test, you get your download speed and your upload speed. Ah, yeah. So you've got great internet. Your internet's fantastic. You're way better than any Australian. So you're already ahead of at least one entire country. So don't even worry about your internet. It's totally fine. And if you're live streaming, you should be plugged in anyway. You shouldn't rely on Wi-Fi when you're live streaming. I've got Google Mesh, and even that can get janky at times. So I prefer to run a cable to my router when I'm live streaming. Not today. Today I've just decided to wing it. I mean, I've got ants crawling over the sensors of my camera. So like, what's jaggy internet with, compared to that? And there's also no one home. If there was somebody home, I wouldn't have risked it. But there's no one home. So I've got no one else using the internet but me. So yeah, but 700's plugged in. That is nice. That is very, very nice. That is, I wish. That is 10 times. No, that is 20 times faster than me. On your phone, you have 611 down and 260 up. I've got a 5G phone. Sorry, if you want to run, you can. I'm just having a chat here with I'm just going to turn my phone off my Wi-Fi, and then I'll run a speed test. I have a 5G tower nearby. However, I am inside my house, and my house blocks the 5G a little bit for some reason. I don't know why, it just does. So I'm just double check. Okay, I'm running the speed test now. Inside the house, I get, it's still running, sorry, it's just taking a little second. On 5G, I get 137 down and around 10 up on 5G. But that is inside. Outside, easily double to triple that. But my phone on the Wi-Fi gets the same as the computer does, 104 down and about 27, 28 up. So yeah, my phone gets the same speeds as the computer does. So let's have a look. You started first BBS at that speed, really? Wow. I'll just turn my Wi-Fi back on before I forget, because I will forget, and then I'll be walking around and then I'll go to, hey, you've used this much data. Not that I have much in the way of data limits, but I forget about it until I get the message. But yeah, like having good upload speeds is takes a lot of the pressure out of live streaming. It's not necessary. Like, you don't need gigabit internet to live stream. I don't have it. I live stream every week on multiple channels. I have a reasonably fast, like a reasonably decent stream. Okay, so let's cut the crap. It says in the 5G I have 301 down and 23 up. So yeah, that's cool. That's good. You could totally live with that. I used to, before I got the Google Mesh, I used to have a little studio out the front, and it couldn't connect to the house Wi-Fi because it's a metal box. And I would literally stick my phone in the window of my studio and stream using the phone data straight out, not connected to the house Wi-Fi, but just the phone data. I would live stream with that. I did that for nearly 12 months. So you can work around this stuff. These are, like, that's not a limitation. What you have there is not limiting in any way. The best speed for internet is always going to come down to whether you're streaming 1080 or 4K or whatever you're doing. But a 1080p stream needs around 5 to 7 megabits per second upload. Yep, the old shack. Yep, the Fibrific shack. I miss the shack so much. We had a spare bedroom when we had the shack. We don't have a spare bedroom anymore. We ditched the bed. We moved the office in here. But yeah, so 5 to 7 megabits per second for a 1080 stream is what you need uploading. So you are well and truly over that. You are far and above beyond that. You don't even have to think about it. All right, I'm really, really going to go. So have an awesome week. If I see you over on the Fibrific stream on Thursday, I'll see you there. I know not everybody comes over there, but I spot a couple of you. And we'll be crafting. We're doing small Tunisian crochet. So have an awesome week, and I will catch you next time. Bye now. Is it going to start?